Test. Okay. Sorry for the delay. We had to struggle with some serious line problems here, but now we are online and we can do the show as we wanted it to do for you. So, just to tell you what this is all about, I have to use the right mouse, not the other one. The talk is called Child's Play, because this is the child and she will do some playing with TYPO3 for you. And it's about busting the bad usability myth. Our names, she's Fiona, I'm Joe. Hasenau, we are coming from Clausthal-Zellerfeld in Germany, which is a small town in the Harz Mountains in northern Germany. And we're working for a company which is called Cybercraft. We're working as a workbench for bigger agencies offering TYPO3 services, and we do some jobs for them they are not able to do because they don't want to do them, or they haven't got the time, or they just haven't got the capabilities. So when I was preparing this talk, I just tried to find out some reasons why there are so many myths about the bad usability of TYPO3, and people are complaining about the bad usability. Nobody can use it, it's much too complex and all the other stuff. And I found out there are 4 ladies that are responsible for these myths about TYPO3. And the names are misconception, misguidance, misinterpretation, and first of all, mistake. Because most of the people that are complaining about the bad usability of TYPO3, I found in the web, who have been writing about that, blogs and all the other stuff where they are complaining about it, actually never used it. So I don't know how you can find out about the usability of a system if you don't use it. So misconception says, for example, TYPO3 is a blogging software comparable to WordPress. Do you think this is true?
Yes.
Yeah. Or they say it's a shop system comparable to Magento. I think this isn't true either. Or a portal system comparable to PHP Nuke. Yeah, I read that, of course. Or a simple web CMS comparable to Joomla. It's very often, this comparison. And a 1-to-3 website creator that works out of the box. This is an expectation that many people have. They just want to download TYPO3, install it, just push a few buttons and the website is on. They just have to fill in some content and it's ready. This is not the goal of TYPO3. And this will raise expectations TYPO3 cannot meet, of course, because it's not all that. So this is simply wrong. And it's wrong to draw any conclusions about the usability of TYPO3 when you just expect it to behave like these systems. Because it can't. It's not the goal of TYPO3 to be just a shop system or a blogging software. It's not a specialized system. It's more kind of a framework that does all this stuff. Misguidance is another lady. She's coming from another background because these people are already working with TYPO3, and sometimes they just want to tell other people that it's much too complex to learn and much too complex to handle. You have to be a very high-end professional to handle this, just to avoid these people, just to get rid of them, so that they don't start using it, being part of maybe, or just taking jobs they would have liked to do. So they're just creating myth, because they say it's an enterprise CMS, which is not for private users, which is simply wrong, because many private users are doing their websites with TYPO3. It's way too complicated to be used as a simple web CMS. You can use it for this purpose. Or they say it's an oversized piece of code taking years to master, which might be true if you want to be a developer, but if you just want to use it, I don't think so. And for specialists, only just like the cockpit of a 747. Okay, this is something I actually said a few years ago in a thread in the news groups. In fact, it can be true, but it depends on the way you set up the backend for the editors, if it looks like that or not. And this leads to just the opposite expectations. People are afraid of using the system. They think it's not for me because I'm not a very high-end professional programmer. I can't use this because it will be much too complex for me, which is not true, because they can still use it, but maybe in another context or for other jobs. So this is definitely wrong. And misinterpretation says good usability means, and we heard something about usability in one of the first talks yesterday. I think some of the arguments are in here. Dropping stuff just because it's old school. I don't think this has something to do with good usability, because there can be very old things. You are used to do it in a certain way, and these things should be kept like that because you are used to it. Good usability means bigger is better because Web 2.0 says so. If you try to handle a system like TYPO3 or any other complex system on a screen like that, you will see it when we just make the show, and you have very big icons. I don't think it is an improvement of the usability. It will just make you scroll down all the screens to just find some icons. So bigger is not always better. And if you want to make it bigger, it's possible because the browsers are able to do it today. Maybe they weren't a few years ago, but now you can do that with the existing icons. Lots of fancy effects because they're so cool. So if you haven't got the effects, if you haven't got big icons, if your system is using old school icons or something like that, it can't have a good usability. And I think good usability means to make an interface idiot-proof. I don't think that an idiot should do the content of a website with a web content management system, so you don't have to make it that idiot-proof. So you can expect a certain amount of intelligence available there. Yeah? And they want to reduce different ways of doing things to just one. I don't think that this is a good idea, because when you have different ways, you can meet different expectations. There are some people that expect a system to behave in a certain way. There are other people that expect it to behave in another way. If you can serve all these needs, I think this is a better usability than just forcing them to do it your way. So as you can see, as beauty, usability is lying in the eye of the beholder. So it's not completely wrong what is written here, but in the case of TYPO3, it is, because TYPO3 is offering a lot of stuff which is working actually and delivering a good usability. Now we have mistake, which is the worst lady of all. She says TYPO3's usability is bad because it always calls me error. Then maybe you did something wrong, but it doesn't have to be a problem of the usability, but maybe you just did it wrong because you didn't understand the system at all. This is the fact for the idiot-proof systems. Or because I can't copy and paste PowerPoint content. They are used to do it in a certain way. They expect the software always to behave like another piece of software they have been working with. And usually you just have to explain them that there are some things you can do with the system, there are other things you should not do with the system. But usually, for example, you would not use a freehand to create a website because this is for print. And so you won't use PowerPoint for the website as well because this is for presentations. And you have to explain this to the customers because they will complain about the bad usability, which is in fact not true. Because the extension database dropper killed my database. Yeah? So they are just downloading extensions without taking care about the code, without checking what they actually do, just testing them out, and maybe this kills or destroys the system or the data. And because I have to learn all that stuff, people just refuse to learn how to use the system. Of course, you can make it easier to learn, but I don't think that you can just handle a system with the complexity of TYPO3 without learning it. So I don't think you will ever be able to just do it without having somebody explaining you, or maybe a manual you have to read. And if you refuse to learn, you won't be able to do it as a system like TYPO3 expected you to do. Sometimes mistakes can be found in front of the screen. So again, this is wrong. But we can learn a lot of things from these ladies. And for example, we can learn that effects are not always good for the usability or readability of the system, as you can see here. Just tried out if it works, but it didn't actually. So TYPO3 is a very complex but not necessarily complicated content management framework. I think complexity doesn't have to be complicated, and in this case it's true. So you can work with it, you can do a lot of stuff with it in a very easy way, and we will show you when we are coming to the show part. It offers different ways to create web-based applications, and I think a website is an application as well, but you don't have to use it for websites only. You can add shop functionality, you can add blog functionality, and you can do a lot of stuff with it, but it's not a specialized system, and you have to know that when you start using it. You won't get the perfect shop system, you won't get the perfect blog software, but you will get something which is able to create a website that contains a blog and a simple or maybe a bigger shop system or whatever, but it's not a specialized piece of software, so it won't behave like that. You need some deeper knowledge if you want to set up the whole system, but this is not the job of the user, and since we are talking about usability, I think it's more talking about the end user, because when you're a professional, when you're a web developer, you have to learn a lot of stuff, you have to dig deeper into the stuff. For example, you all learned PHP when we are developers, because we want to handle TYPO3. So why are people sometimes refusing to learn TypoScript? It's just another language you can learn, or you can not learn, so you don't use it, but it's something you should learn and you should dig deeper into, but you don't have to do that as a user. So with a bit of training, you will be able to use the backend to manage your content very easily. So, is this true? Do you think this is true? Anybody doesn't think so? Okay. So, to collect some evidence and prove our statements, I need the help of another young lady. I hope she's not mistaken today. And you can read the rest on the screen. And now we have to just switch over, and Fiona will show you how she's working with the system. Okay. Say hello to the people. You can say hello to them. Sag hallo.
Hello.
So we now have to switch to the bilingual talk so that she can understand what I am telling her. Zeig den Leuten einfach mal, was du mit Typo3 machst. Einfach so. Usually she is having her own website, but she asked me to not show this here because she started using TYPO3 when she was 7. Now she's 10, so she's working for 3 years with the system, not on a regular base, but sometimes when she likes to do some stuff with the system, she just changed the content of her website. But she asked me to not show it here because there are some text in it she didn't want to present to the public. So we are using the TagPack demo site we used last year to show the TagPack extension. And I just added some menu parts in the other stuff so that she will be able to just show you how to add some pages or edit the pages or switch to the list module and all the other stuff. And if you have some certain tasks you want to ask her to do, or maybe we can just check out if she can do something new she never did before, just to show you that it's very easy to understand how the system works if you once worked with it. So when you didn't refuse to get in and to just use the icons, try to find out what they do, most of the stuff she found out herself. I just showed her the basics, that there is a page tree, that there is a page module and a list module, and that there are some icons you can click on to get additional functions, and she was able to do that. These guys, genau. Blog posts you find in the list module, hier im Listen-Modul. In this case, we have something new she never did before, because here are some blog posts which are part of the TT News extension, and we added the possibility to add some tags and all the other stuff. And yesterday, she, for the first time, she did some tagging of elements and found out how to add the tag Fiona to some of these elements. Kannst du mal kurz auf eins von den Elementen gehen und die einfach mal taggen?
Das lädt gerade. Hm? Das lädt gerade.
Achso, okay. Das lädt lang.
Ja.
She's always working as an admin, because I just told her this is the stuff you need and this is the stuff you don't need. You can take a look at it if you like, because you can't destroy anything. We can get it back later on from a backup. Because I just wanted to show her how the whole system can work, and just try to find out if she will be actively trying to find out how the system works. And sometimes she did, sometimes not. And I think it's a good idea to just show the people the capabilities of the system. And if they say, okay, this is too complicated for me, then you can still dump it down. I think it's a better approach than just have a restrictive backend without any possibilities, any options. So you never know what the system would be able to do for you. Macht es nichts?
No.
So we still got line problems. Here we go. No, we don't. Das haben wir schon abgeschaltet gehabt. Just try, versuch mal irgendwas anderes. Gehst du mal irgendwo auf den Listenmodus, genau. Da, und dann versuchst du es mal darüber. For example, she found out how the list mode works just by going over the icons, reading the text, what the icon is used to do, and what she can expect when you click on, she clicks on it. And I think this is a behavior you could train your customers too, so that you can say, okay, everything, almost everything, not everything, but almost everything is explained in the system itself. So in fact, it's not a really self-explaining system when you start using it, but the explanation is there. And you don't have to dig into a lot of manuals, because the basic information can always be found near the icons or near the functions. You can click on the question mark and do other stuff. So you will be quickly getting how the whole system works.
When you deliver an installation to a customer, you always give him...
Not always. It depends. It depends. The interesting thing is, when you just deliver a system to a single customer, a small company where just one guy or one woman is working with a system, they have no problems with that. I have a lot of clients that are just saying, I am very, just like an idiot. They call it themselves idiots, but they still have the admin interface because they just do the stuff they are supposed to do. And you don't have to restrict them. The bigger the company gets, the more restrictive you have to be, but not because the users are always making mistakes, but because other people in the company expect them to make these mistakes. And then you have to be restrictive because you are forced to restrict these users. So in this case, I won't give them admin access, but there are a lot of clients that are using the system as an admin without really being the admin.
I noticed that Fiona was using just a couple of minutes ago, the news record. She was editing news record, and she had the tags, and then why would you use tags as opposed to news categories?
In this case, it's just the tag back demo site, so we are using tags because the client actually expected this to be better than the categories, because categories are just a hierarchical system. You have to use a certain category or subcategories, and the tag pack is just the contrary, so you can add a different information without a hierarchical system. So it depends on the context, but in this case, they just wanted tagging to be implemented. Just not a simple news entry, it's a blog, and they wanted to be able to find blog entries in the front end quicker than with the news categories. Kannst du ein bisschen was dazu erzählen, was du da gerade machst? Du kannst auch gerne was sagen.
Ich habe gerade Bilder eingefügt.
Du hast gerade Bilder eingefügt, okay. Hast du andere Bilder eingefügt oder neue? Oder?
Andere.
Also Bilder ausgetauscht, okay. Kannst du die auch größer machen?
Ja.
So can you make these images bigger? Sind sie größer geworden? Ja, sieht so aus. Okay, so now they are bigger. Und wenn du jetzt draufklickst, weißt du, warum das so ist?
Weil ich da diese Kreuzchen gemacht habe.
Wo? As you can
Why did Fiona save and close as opposed to just save and leave the edit form there just in case you wanted to play with the width?
Er möchte gerne wissen, warum du auf Speichern und Schließen geklickt hast und das nicht offen gelassen hast, damit du vielleicht mit der Frei ein bisschen rumspielen kannst.
Weiß ich nicht.
Einfach so. Ja? Okay. Aber du weißt schon den Unterschied, also dass es verschiedene Speicherbuttons gibt. Wo sind die?
Ich soll jetzt erstmal das zeigen.
Das kannst du machen, okay, genau. Da ist Klick vergrößern, genau.
Kann man jetzt wegklicken?
Und jetzt speicher mal und schließ nicht. Okay. An interesting thing that really could be improved. There was some guy who wrote a blog about the bad usability of TYPO3, and he said, my favorite game is finding the save button. And maybe we should improve that again, because in the early days there were different save buttons in different locations, and you could find a save button at the bottom of the screen when you scroll down the frame, which is now gone. So you always have to move up, sometimes out of the form, so that you really don't expect some buttons to be there. when you're used to it, it's not a problem, but even I had serious problems finding some buttons because I was used to the behavior of TYPO3 3.8. So any other questions?
Ja.
Du kannst ruhig das Element nehmen, TextMood ist okay dafür. Nee, das war jetzt nicht die Positionierung, es ging darum, dass es mehrere nebeneinander sind. Du hast ja jetzt 2 nebeneinander und dann 2 untereinander.
Ja. Das weiß ich nicht.
Na, ob du das findest, das müsste nämlich eigentlich da sein. Weißt du, warum du es nicht findest? Klick mal da drauf, genau. Das war gestern, yesterday it was open and now I closed the secondary options. Usually she's working with all the options enabled. So secondary options are enabled, she's working in the admin mode, she can see all the fields and just try out how they work. I think so, yes. But you can see, if you make these icons bigger on a screen like that, you won't be able to handle anything anymore because you will be always scrolling. Yeah?
I do not know yet how to use that.
Mm-hmm.
So if I ask her, how long does it take, for example, if she can explain to me,
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm able to say this?
Okay. Sie möchte gerne wissen, also er hat noch nie mit Typo 3 gearbeitet und möchte jetzt gerne wissen, was du glaubst, wie lange das dauert, bis sie das auch kann, was du da machst.
Kommt drauf an, wen man als Lehrer hat.
Sehr gut, Frank. You did understand what she said? She said it depends on the teacher. No, I think if you're just working as an editor, usually the training we do for editors is just a few hours to get the basic stuff and to just know how to handle the system. If you don't stop working after, keep on working and just do some exercise with the system, I think it's very easy to handle with just a few hours of training. The major problem is that many people get the training and they stop working with the system, and a month later they try to remember what they did in the training, which is quite impossible. So usually you should just do something, even if it's not something you do for the public website. Just make a account which is not visible to the public, where you can just check out all the functionalities of the system and just keep on working. Then I think it's quite easy to learn. Other questions? So I think we are already out of time. There are no questions left. We have to thank you for visiting the talk.